Guys. Welcome to today, June 2nd. Want to talk about what happened over the weekend. Pray for those individuals who have been hurt and their families. The good news is, if you can call it a silver lining, is that no children were hurt. There were some initial reports on the terror attack that approximately a couple children were hurt. That turns out not to be true. It is still looking to be 6 to 8 individuals. Most reports are saying 8 individuals, with one in critical condition in the hospital. I saw some reports as of this morning saying that the person that was in critical condition may have passed on. I do not have any confirmation of that, just calling that out as I see it. What we currently know is that this man came into the country back in 2022 under an Egyptian under the Biden administration. He was given some sort of visa, work visa, that expired, and he, of course, didn't go back. He lodged himself in Colorado, which is a sanctuary city. So, of course, sanctuary cities don't work with ICE. They don't deport the people who are here illegally. This obviously would be someone who should have been deported, who should probably have not been in the country. And frankly, guys, I really want to emphasize this. This is something I've been saying back since 2022, is that attacks are coming because the Biden administration does not know who's coming through the border. The border was being opened up by the National Guard. They were under orders to take down parts of the fence, to move barbed wire, and literally just allow an influx of people to come in and be literally shipped across the entire country. So just wanting to point out that please be safe out there, especially in cities that are not cooperating with ICE. Have been confirmed reports of terror cells already here in the United States. So again, these have all come over, I'm sure, in the last few years. Just be aware and keep your eyes open, especially in those cities. I pray for you guys that are not cooperating with ICE and have allowed these individuals to propagate and move throughout the United States. So please be vigilant. Please watch out. With that, I want to point out a couple things. So these are CBP encounters in the last 10 years. Something I want to note. Look at this. I mean, the chart pretty much explains itself. That is just nasty as far as what's been able to come through. Remember, these are encounters. These are not the actual people. These are the people that come in. Hey, look, let's take you down, get you checked out, and then put you on your way on a bus. Again, it's the rough estimates are that it is double this. For every at least one person that CBP encounters, at least one person comes into the country and did not get touched by anyone. So essentially, you're coming into the country, you got a 50-50 chance that CBP is going to pick you up and actually do anything, if nothing. There have been reports that some of these people that they picked up, I believe there was one in New York that killed somebody. He was picked up by CBP, known criminal, let him in the country, murdered somebody here. But guys, just be aware that, think about it from just a rational standpoint. If all these people have come in and there's a 50-50 shot that some of them are vetted and some of them are not, that's a lot of people that's unvetted. Something to point out here, again, this is what was going on during the Biden administration, and then all of a sudden Trump comes in and whammo. Much better. And for liberals losing their minds right now, calling me the R word, I'm going to call you the R word. You're retarded, because Obama was the deporter in chief. Look during the Bush administration how poorly he did, and then Obama comes in and is like, no, let's clean this up. Trump comes in, let's keep it cleaned up. And then all of a sudden they get word that Trump is heading out. And of course, what happens? Just an irrational standpoint of how many people are coming into the country. You cannot justify that in any shape or form. And yes, for people who are like, well, where's your sources for this? I knew that would be coming, so I'm going to start pasting the sources for all of these charts, including the CBP website, including some of them from the Washington Examiner. So these are not all right-wing conservative or government publications. This is from the left wing. This is from a left-wing publication where they're citing the CBP. So, guys, this is not good. And no matter how you want to twist and try to contort this into something that makes sense, it doesn't make sense. And it's frankly scary. And I worry for the cities that are not working with ICE, trying to get these people who are obviously criminals, who obviously have an agenda, who obviously do not care about human life, and want to bring their conflicts here to America and rehash America in their own version and say, hey, let's start our own little conflict here. Let's start killing people here, because that's what that terrorist was screaming. He wants to start his own little war here in the United States, and there are plenty of them like him. So let's get off that heady topic and heavy topic, and let's look over at something that's a little bit lighter. I'd much rather do lighter, more economic stuff, because that's kind of my bag. But again, with that terrorist incident, everybody should touch on that. That's going to be impacting the country from here on out. And I hate to say it, guys, we're going to see more of them. So please be vigilant. So Musk is ditching out. I'm sure all of you know this by now, and I wanted to touch on this earlier, but again, so much was happening, I didn't really get to dive into it. So let's go into something a little bit more up and coming, as far as more lighthearted, and that's where Musk was basically pointing out that that big, beautiful bill really isn't that beautiful. It's like, stuffing 10 pounds of shit in a 5-gallon hat or something like that. It's shoving a lot of pork into just something that's really not going to look very good when you actually start dissecting. And essentially, all the cuts that were supposedly going to come to fruition never happened. Now, we'll get into what the Trump administration is saying here just momentarily, but literally, they're keeping pretty much all of the Biden era budget. It's literally a copy paste of the Biden budget and a continuation of it. So there are some good things. Tax cuts, tax for the rich. Go ahead, liberal, throw it down in the comments. Explain to me how the tax cuts are for the rich only. Please do that so I can do a deep dive on that and debunk you on that. I hope this is going to be true. There is so much waste that has been found. Musk set a huge bar of like over $1 trillion, and he did fantastic. Had nothing to do with the work that him and his team put in. They found mountains of evidence of fraud and waste, and they pointed out ways to cut it. And it's not up to Musk to get it done. Musk is an advisor. Everybody was freaking out over Musk over there on the left. Oh, he's unappointed. No. Trump, we elected him, right? Trump appoints people to do the work. Amazing how that works, right? Delegate. So the point is that Musk did his job. He pointed out things that savings could occur, but unfortunately, according to Trump, most of it's going to come later. Somehow being codified by Congress. Again, that is a very slim majority that the Republicans have. I would not hold my breath, which is why we're going to get into some other things to try to point out. Because again, I don't just want to bring the news. I want to dive into a little bit and give you guys at least some sort of things to chew on and think about. The president promised that DOGE cuts result in hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of billions on trillions. Look, 100 billion isn't nothing, but it's not what we were promised, and it's not what DOGE delivered. DOGE did deliver, I believe they counted up close to $1 trillion if they had enacted all those cuts. However, that's not what's going to happen. And in fact, if we scroll down, I believe, here it is, Vault, part of Trump's cabinet, I believe, or one of his economic advisors, or part of the cabinet there, part of the advisors to the cabinet, said that this doesn't increase the deficit. In fact, it lowers it by 1.4 trillion. But what you need to note down here is over 10 years. So again, only hundreds of billions of dollars, not even $200 billion each year. That's a drop in the bucket. That's not what we were promised. That's not what we wanted to see. Now, granted, we're still in the early phases, but this isn't, making the target bigger for us to find a clean way through this to hedge off the potential risk of a serious ramifications, financial crisis, debt crisis down the road. We want that target to be bigger for our country to be able to hit it so we can continue this beautiful ship on down the road. And I am very worried that if we do not codify some of these or go through rescission and start trimming the fat out of this, we are headed toward a very difficult path. Other things that need to be touched: Social Security. I've got a list of 10 things that I actually argue with the Dartmouth economist, which is great because this lady from Dartmouth really got upset when I pointed out the dichotomy in some of her views. And we'll go into that. There's going to be a whole series of 10 things we can do to help fix the U.S. And again, if you have any trouble with any of these, please put them down in the comments. I listen to the comments. I make adjustments to the feed and try to adjust from there. So with Musk kind of pointing out that you've basically got this obese person in a bikini and calling it beautiful, it seems like Musk is losing some of Trump's support. Not only that, there's been some allegings of drug consumption from Musk. Again, these are all circumstantial, all like anonymous tips, BS. Come on, guys. If Musk was out there in the forefront, I'm not saying he's not taking anything. I mean, but my goodness, where were they under, Biden's little kid? What was Hunter? Yeah, Hunter hunting for cocaine. Where was all this? And frankly, the scrutiny that Hunter was under, they completely ignored all the signs of him using. Zelensky says what? And then not to mention, if you look at Musk, for the most part, I mean, he's probably on Adderall in order to help him focus. Who knows? But how many of you out there are on something? Not saying he's on cocaine or anything, not even alleging that Musk is on anything at all. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he was on something like Adderall. Whoop-de-doo. Again, is he doing what he's promised to do? Yes. Is Adderall a controlled substance? No. So what are you getting your panties in a bunch for? Other than Musk has now become a softer target because Trump seems to be pulling his support away from Musk, because Musk, again, has pointed out some very clear things that are wrong in this big, beautiful, nasty bill. So, some of the things to point out with this as far as the 10-year yield. Don't yawn yet. I'm going to go very quick through this. I'm not going to become pedantic. But what people are worried about from an economic sense is that the 10-year bond is been dropping, which is kind of a good thing. But then all of a sudden, since the tariffs, it's really shot up. And what you're looking at is this trend. You're wanting to look at this trend here where, okay, we're looking at the trend. This is good. And then now we've broken from this trend. And now the trend seems to be going up, which is very bad. However, it's not exceptionally bad yet. Again, there's going to be some pain before it gets better. So if you look at how it's been going, so if we go all the way back, that's nasty, but you didn't hear anything about it until this little piece right here. So we've been marching down this very difficult path for a while. It's nothing new over the last 4 years. However, if we don't start cutting back those trillions of dollars, this is going to continue, and that is ugly. So it's not like this has been, Trump's doing. This has been building over the last 4 years. Under the Biden administration, Trump's been given this big bag of poopy caca, and now he is just doing the best with what he can. Is that great? No, obviously not. I'm not a huge fan of the big, beautiful bill, but it is at least tapering off. So let's hold true for a little bit longer before we start sounding alarm bells, because frankly, this year is going to be difficult. Right there with you guys. I'm hoping next year is going to be better with you're seeing more foreign direct investment from those companies coming back to the United States. Having said that, point this out. I'm sure you guys have heard about Bitcoin. Most of the Bitcoin's been mined. So if something's scarce, that means that the price of it goes up. And if you note, here we are in 2024. I'm sorry this is so small, but I just want to point, whenever they're mining something, here it is right here, 93.7% of all supply is already in the market. So then if we just go out to, 2040, you're talking 99%. So over the course of 15 years, you're only jumping up like 6 percentage points on the amount of additional supply that comes in the market, that is very, very small. So if you've got very little supply coming into the market, that means, and demand stays consistent, you're still going to see a ratcheting up effect of the price of Bitcoin. In fact, you could say that it could be exponential. I don't know. I am not a huge Bitcoin guru, but I do want to point out that, guys, if you don't have anything in Bitcoin, take whatever you got, get a little bit in there, get prepared. If you don't feel comfortable with Bitcoin, there's always the old standard. Go back to the Bible, go back to ancient times, get you some gold, put it in your pocket. It's going to make you feel better because you got a hold of it, okay? Do something besides keeping fiat. You're going to hear me in this channel mention that over and over and over. So with that, I want to jump on something a little fun. Everybody's favorite clown, David Hogg, who loves to just completely shove his foot right in his mouth and chew on it and suck on it. And, I mean, what could he do better than basically dishing out that pretty much Bernal was probably running it? And not only that, Bernal's not the only one. It was pretty much the entire White House advisor staff. From what I understand, there was a White House advisor that came out and spoke about this, specifically stating that there were two factions within the White House that basically were ruling the place: the Obama appointees and the Jill Biden group. So this just goes in to confirm that you had Bernal running a good chunk of it, with the Biden or Obama legacy staffers fighting it out. So you essentially had Obama and the other staffers who were basically running it. And that's why we got such a lousy administration. So guys, trying to keep these a bit more concise. Hope that's to your liking. Please feel free to leave any comments in the description and kind of say, hey, do this, do that. No, that's not good enough. Do more of this. And I will start leaving references in the description for all you liberals that are ripping your hair out right now. Please leave a comment in the description. Love to get your feedback. Peace. Or not peace. What do we want to do? BBE, Big Badger Energy, baby.